ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Green Gloves, Red Tie.
Well, hello there. Good evening, good morning, good noon, good day, good night, good day night, good afternoon, good night afternoon day. This is Green Gloves, Red Tie, and today we shall be talking about Oh, Dear Silvia by Dawn French. Now, if we take a closer look at this brilliant novel, and as we see here, the book is very well designed. Unfortunately, my copy is not that very good quality because I tend to use and read books. But anyway, if we look closely at the cover, all the information is very nicely laid out. We have the title, we have the author's name, we have reviews, and we have this pretty little tree here. And I don't know if you can see it, but the tree sparkles when you move it around. Beautiful design. And of course, we can't forget Penguin Books, because over here is a penguin, and this is a book. And they are the publishers. Now, if we go to the back, a woman, a coma, a family, a secret. That tells the entire story. And then we have a blurb about the story, and then we have more reviews. And then we have the passbook, a tiny bit mischievous, a tiny bit marvelous, a tiny bit marvelous. I believe it is. I may say it wrong because I don't know how to speak all of a sudden. But anyway, this is a very funny book. You should definitely read it. Now, if we go on the inside where the soul is held of the novel, we see pages and more pages, a lot of pages, a lot of pages. And of course, dedication, the copyrightness, year it was written and whatnot. And the pages, I don't know if you can tell, but try and feel, just touch the screen there. It feels like a proper, nicely done page. Just stroke your fingers gently across your screen so you can feel the page. Now go and wipe your screen because you have just made it dirty for no reason whatsoever. But anyway, the pages are nice. They're thin, they're easy to navigate. Oh, the chapters are nicely organized. We have chapter 1 in small, and the person, the character whose chapter is about. We'll get into that much later. And the text, nicely visible, nicely written, nicely spaced out. The font is very good. It's a good choice of font. The page number at the bottom. Yes, this is a very nicely made book. Yes, I so applaud the nicely made book. Now, let's skip to the end. And the end. Let's skip to the end. Ooh, I hope we didn't give away a spoiler there. Now, at the end, of course, the acknowledgements. The beloved, that we do not know, but they mean a lot to dear Dawn French. And they are very important to her. So, yes, very important people. Permissions, because you need to have permission in order to write certain things. Which makes sense. You mean you don't want to get into trouble now, do you? No. No. Oh, and here, my favorite thing, reading group guide, where they ask questions after you have read the book for when you're in a reading group, which people still do. I think in person, or on the internet. I don't know. But here are the questions that they ask and they answer. And of course, there is a preview of this wonderful book, just to give you a taste of what was, because this came out before this. But overall, the book is beautifully designed. See, beautifully designed. It's very, very simple, very elegant. It says the comedy straight away with the funny text. Very hilarious text. Very hilarious font, I mean, not text, font. It's just very well done, like, just beautiful. And yes, a beautiful book about a beautiful lady Not really. Or maybe. To be honest, we mostly know about her through other people, and their views are quite subjective and kind of corrupted or romanticized. Corrupted and romanticized. But alas, that is how people view other people. And anyway, let us carry on with the review. And I cannot remember how I took this book away, so this may be a continuity error, which I do apologize for. But what about the story, you may ask? Or I will say to myself, since no one is here. Well, the story is quite simple, actually. Dear Silvia is in a coma, and her family comes to visit her, but of course secrets are revealed to the reader. The family still has no idea what's going on. We are introduced to multiple characters, and what is very nice is that all the characters have individual chapters, so we get to see the interworkings of each individual thought process and characters and their stories. So it's almost a collection of short stories within a bigger story. Very, very cleverly designed. Bravo, bravo. But what can we say for the characters? Well, we have Ed, the loving ex-husband, good father, a nice guy, very into nature. He's the one who has the most characteristical growth and development throughout the entirety of the novel. Because in the beginning of Ed's journey, when we meet Ed for the first time, he is a mess. He is a heartbroken, confused, sad mess. But then he discovers his love for nature and his park, and from that he develops and he grows. So when a boulder comes along and almost ruins his life once again, he's able to pull through it and be the strong Ed that we grew to love. A shortcoming of Ed is that he's extremely boring and he talks too much. Like, he talks a lot. Like, I mean, the thick chapters are him talking about the freaking park. But we'll let that be, because Ed begins to develop a relationship with a certain nurse. And this certain nurse name is Winnie. Winnie the Pooh. Winnie. Oh, she is a lovely lady. She has a lovely accent, which is very difficult to understand a lot of the time. But she is caring and compassionate. And she had a hard life, but she is still caring and compassionate. And she's a good person, even though she's very difficult to understand. Another character who is difficult to understand is Taya, the maid. Ah, a lovely, funny character. One to definitely read. She does stuff to get herself by, but she's an honest person, and she owns up to it. But she's not doing wrong. She is doing right by doing wrong. And then, onto another complicated, action-driven character, Cat. I believe she is Irish, and she's a bitch. In the beginning, I quite like Cat. I like the relationship between her and Silvia. However, as you read on, you will realize that it is a demented relationship forced by a demented person who does a lot of cocaine and is an idiot and murders people. And you realize that she's actually a cunt. And Cassie, Silvia's dear beloved daughter, what was she? A mother at a young age, but a good mother nonetheless. The most organized, mature one in the entire family going through this shit. But she pulls everyone together. She pulls everyone through. And it comes to a point where her older brother Jamie comes back from the war to help her. Not physically help her, but just to be there for her. And that there is a lovely statement. Because Jamie hates Silvia. Silvia left the entire family. And it was heartbreaking for everyone. And no one understood, and no one will understand, except the audience. But anyway, and Jamie also talks a lot. He got it from his dad's side. But my, the characters here are lovely. The book is not that funny as a tiny bit mischievous was. It is still very well written, and it plays a lot with the language and accents, which is good. It is very, very good. And the final chapter is very different from the other chapters. And it's Silvia. The first time we hear Silvia is at the end. And it's different. It's very well written in the structure tense. Well, what can we say about this beautiful novel? It's quite tedious and can be difficult for me to finish. But I finished it nevertheless. Do I regret reading it? Never. Would I read it again? No. Would I suggest you read it? A tiny bit mischievous. It's a lot better to read. I suggest you start with this one, then go on to that one, or you just read that one. But overall, I'll give it a 2.5 out of 5. Well, this has been Green Gloves Red Tie. Thank you for watching and have a pleasant life.
Happy April Fools. Have a lovely weekend, and thank you for watching. Goodbye.